All right, welcome into another bonus episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
I'm BJ.
and we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Dropping in a bonus on you guys because we got a lot of extra news that came in the past 24 hours since we recorded the other episode, and it's fairly big news. So I
Pretty
mean,
big news,
it's
Drew.
yeah, pretty big news. So we gotta talk into this a little bit with you guys. Shout out to our subscribers out there on the podcast that will get to listen to this episode. Shouts out to you guys and those on YouTube who got to pop in for the live. Um, BJ, got a lot on tap. Are you ready?
I'm ready, Drew. Let's get it.
All right, kidding. There's not a lot on tap, but a decent bit in these couple of things we're going to touch on today. Dallas Mavericks trade. They acquire Christian Wood. And the details of that we'll get into here in just a second. And Sue Bird announced her retirement on social media. I believe it was a whammy of Twitter and Instagram, like right at the same time when she did it. So announcing her retirement, that this will be her last season in the WNBA. So she's
Mm,
retiring after this year, and this is the last year of Sue Bird. So we're gonna get
yeah.
into all of that. And I already asked BJ if he's ready, so let's get after it. Starting off with the Dallas Mavericks trade. Dallas Mavericks, BJ, make quite a splash the other
That's an
night.
understatement.
Yeah, last night, a splash last night. Dallas Mavericks are acquiring center and power forward 6'11" Christian Wood from the Houston Rockets in exchange for the number 26 pick in the 2022 NBA draft. It's funny, we just talked about this pick, and then they do this trade. Here we go. And four players with expiring contracts. That would be Boban,
Hmm.
Marquise Chris, Trey Burke, and Sterling Brown, all going to Houston, creating roster flexibility and adding a productive big man that the Dallas Mavericks need, BJ. Dallas
Yeah.
Mavericks last year, and here's where Christian Wood is going to help fit said need. Rebounding per game. Can you guess where they were in the NBA, where they ranked?
Is this going to be before or after the KP trade? Or just
Regular
in
season
general?
in total.
Okay. So I'm going to say they're not going to be in the dead last, but in the lower half of the league in rebounding.
Oh, that's such a safe answer. Pick a spot, pick a number.
24th. How about that?
You cheated, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I
you're right on the
promise.
money though.
Well, how about that?
Yeah,
Lucky
24th
guess.
in rebounding at 43 a game, and Christian Wood, he's a near double double a game. Especially when he gets the playing time. Christian Wood pretty effective in Houston for the most part. He averages a double double. He averaged it last year, 17.9 points a game and 10 rebounds. For his career, he's 14-7, but early parts of his career, you don't really count that within his career because he was just trying to find his way. But ever since he's been in Houston, he's averaging. Let's see, that's an average of 19 or just a little over about 19, 19 and a half a game.
Hmm.
Um, just short of 10 rebounds a game, a block per game, just short of a steal per game, and a couple assists. Needs to work on his free throws, but
Yeah.
50%, guy around the rim. He likes to stretch the floor. He's about 38% on average the past couple of seasons from three. So I mean that's a big help right there. But first point, talk about the rebounding. We could use the stretch big, even though a lot of times we're going to need a guy like that with his height in the paint, but
Yeah.
he likes to stretch it like Porzingis. So
You notice
essentially,
you noticed that during the playoffs, Drew, about like what how the Mavericks were, they had to go through Rudy Gobert,
yeah.
oftentimes attributed as the dinosaur in the paint that the
Mhm,
Utah Jazz have. Then you go through DeAndre Ayton, and
mhm,
yeah, they were able to win those series, but that didn't mean it was easy. And as you would expect in the playoffs, of course, nothing is easy. But if you had a Christian Wood to, uh, even going up against Kevon Looney, I don't know if it would have, you know, made a difference as much so in the series. I don't know if the Mavericks would have won, but I know that it probably would have extended it at least a game or two. Uh, and the Mavericks probably could have at least had a fighting shot in that series with the Warriors had they had Christian Wood. That was
And
the thing that they really seemed to lack all playoffs long is that big man in the paint.
And this trade was a no-brainer. I mean, I
Hmm.
mean, it creates flexibility for you. You offloaded a bunch of guys you don't play anyway.
Yeah,
You basically just offloaded them for free and traded the pick for Christian Wood. That's what it
yeah,
feels like to me. Which I mean, that's where you get if you want to look at it from the brightest point that the Rockets could look at it. I mean, they got a pick from it. That's
yeah.
but the
More
rest of those
assets.
guys, they're not even going to really. They're probably not going to use most of those guys either. So
No,
they're just going to be dumping those guys too. So they
it
just
was just to match salaries and
yeah.
then just basically another asset as they continue their rebuild.
Right. So, but this is an immediate good thing for the Mavericks, BJ.
Yeah.
He makes your team better already. You know, Houston really had, they've got they're really fanboys of Alperen Sengun, which I mean, he's a good player. But
Hmm.
Christian Wood, he's going to be going in the final year of his contract too. So I
Yeah.
mean, he's going to be out there trying to play for something. So that's an extra motivation for him out there, and I think it's going to be really helpful for the Mavericks to guy go into a better situation. You've seen what type of player he is when he plays with a guy like James Harden before he left. Doing that type of player is the same that Luca is,
Yeah.
for the most part. Not the
They
current
got to
James
take
Harden
Luca
anyway.
over Harden though.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially right now. But yeah, you can see what it's like when Christian Wood's in a good situation, and he can get these minutes like he's had the past couple of years and show that he can play in this league. Uh,
I
and
do have a question for you, Drew.
Okay.
When did the Dallas Mavericks become the LA Rams? This is the now we've had
Oh.
five first round picks in since the Luca being 5 years ago the draft pick in the first round when they made the trade for Luca when they drafted Trey Young and the Hawks and the Mavs swapped straight up and then the Mavs added in that 2019 pick. So and then 2020, they picked Josh Green. But last year, the pick went to New York as part of the Kristaps Porzingis trade. And then this year, they trade away this pick for Christian Wood.
Mhm.
Mavericks, that's 3 out of 5 of the 3 of the past 5 years, Drew, that they have traded their first round pick. Now, the KP trade, it ended up getting you Spencer Dinwiddie, which you saw his performance in the playoffs and how much he was able to contribute, and you
Yeah.
like that end of it. But you might not look as favorably upon the KP trade here in a few more years if you're not able to retain Spencer Dinwiddie, and he's not able to match what he was able to do in the second half of the season and the postseason this year. But I just thought it was an interesting nugget. Now this is the third time in the last 5 years that the Mavericks have made a first round or pick traded their first round pick.
Hmm. Yeah, and to be specific on those averages for Christian Wood, it's 19.1 points and 9.9 rebounds in the past 2 seasons with the Rockets.
Just a
But
little shavings.
Right, just a little bit of shavings right there. But yeah, he fits the immediate need from the rebounding perspective and a guy that can create his own shot.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily know that we needed more of those, but at least definitely not at the guard position. But it's definitely an advantage, and especially that he can stretch the floor. His height is a big advantage too, and you'll see what kind of lineups
absolutely.
you can play. You mix them up. I don't let's see how many times you can play a Maxi and Christian Wood down there. That might not be your starting unit. More than likely, Mavs would have a small starting unit.
Yeah,
Luca JB, Doe Finney, uh,
and Christian
Reggie
Wood.
Bullock, maybe, and then Christian Wood.
Yeah,
So you might have
I,
things like that.
I saw a tweet that said talking about Luca Brunson, Dodo, Christian Wood, and Dwight Powell, and I was thinking,
Yeah, no, he's not going to play.
yeah,
Dwight minutes are gone in this league. If he plays, man, I think he's going to be in that Theo Pinson role this year.
mm,
He's just going to be our cheerleader from the bench. I think Theo Pinson will get more minutes than Dwight Powell. He should. He should get more minutes than Dwight Powell at the course of this next season. And Dwight Powell is just done in this league. He
should we
should have
should
been done.
should we start a GoFundMe so he can wear whatever color shirt that they're giving away so that he blends in and everybody gets upset about it
We
every year.
can, and I can play this tiny violin.
You
Bye
did
bye
it a
to
lot
Dwight.
better than I could.
Bye
I'll
bye to
tell you
Dwight
that.
Powell's minutes. Uh, but he definitely fits the bill, BJ. And
Yeah.
I don't know if this necessarily gets you over the hump and gets you into the NBA Finals or anything like that. I think Nico's far from done, but it's fair to say that Nico is a firm 2 for 2 on his trades so far. I mean, pending how Christian Wood pans out here, but you don't expect it to go bad, especially with the fit and how Luca makes everybody better.
And
So
it's funny that we say 2 for 2 now because you and I both were just scratching our heads after the first trade, and then you kind of see, oh, that's why he made the trade, and so we've learned now, Drew, after that
don't
mistake,
question Nico Harrison.
exactly, we will
Yeah,
not be doing that again
yeah.
anytime soon.
Nico out here swinging his jock, making the trades happen.
Well,
Man,
and it's just insane to me that we talk about this, and it really doesn't feel like the Mavs gave up a whole lot in return. I mean, like you
no,
said
they didn't
earlier,
give up.
it's just the pick,
It's
basically.
just the pick that because I mean
Yeah,
it's guys that didn't see meaningful playoff minutes and hardly saw moderately meaningful regular season minutes. So
yeah,
like it was really just offloading some guys to get you some spots. You somehow got a really good pickup out of it. That's excellent
yeah. It's
value
a
for the
very
Maverick. That's
excellent pick.
man,
Do you think
that's the
Houston was
kind.
a little bit desperate with this trade?
I mean,
It feels like
you could
it.
argue that point. I mean, this is the kind of trade that you make in fantasy for the person that's new to the league. In my opinion, like here I am, 2-time champ. Then bring in some random person that just likes basketball, and I'll give them this nice little deal here. But like, look at all these players that could possibly get you some points. And they're like, oh
Wow,
yeah, that's not a bad
that's a
idea.
pretty good
Trade, and
trade.
they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. But
Sounds like what happened, what you tried to do to me first year I was in your league.
in a league with some smarter people in totality, they'll veto that thing, so it's not even going to
Yes.
happen. But
Yeah.
it's excellent. It's a fleece by Nico Harrison. It's an
It really
excellent,
does feel like a
easy
fleece. Yeah.
pickup for the Mavericks. And like I said, he's on an expiring contract and have something to play for, so he's going to be looking to ball out. Hopefully Luka doesn't come in fat, so things can just start off awesome instead of just having to get awesome before like the All Star break, and then
Yeah.
get very fortunate like we did this year. But we always seem to turn it on at the start of the year, and I wish we would just have a point guard and a franchise player that would just come in shape and ready to go from the jump. But
Maybe
um,
it's this year because you know how crazy the past couple of years have been with the shortened seasons and
yeah,
shortened off seasons. This being actually a normal ish, I would say, normal recovery time and off season, to get him back in shape in time for the season to start this
and it,
fall.
and if he comes in as skinny Luca, like we see how good he is now, and like he's making first team now when he doesn't
Yeah.
start the season in shape. Imagine he comes in skinny Luca. I think I'm like you got to smash down MVP bets if he comes in and like you can see his jawline. If you can come in, you can see Luca's jawline, and you don't see any belly in the jersey early. He might have, or if you see some muscle
Muscle
definition,
mass,
like
yeah.
he's got a tricep now or
If he
something,
if he's
you
looking
lay
like
down the MVP bet immediately,
yeah,
even if it's like plus 2,000. You go
it
do it.
if he's looking like Zion Williamson in the
Okay,
last
that's
picture, that yeah,
then they're gonna drug test him if
that,
he looks like that. Uh, but
I
just
mean,
to
I'm
look like
meaning in terms
he's
of where he was to getting to be that way, like Zion, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but just if he comes in skinny, I mean, you gotta put that down. Like he
Oh
might,
yeah,
maybe if they start, they might Jordan rules him and start knocking him around because he's smaller. But you gotta be happy that he'll be coming in shape and stuff like that. So I would bet MVP if I saw a skinny Luka.
I would too.
That is
I'd make sure I borrow some dough if I had to, just to
yeah.
put that bet down.
So BJ, the Mavericks had 52 wins this past season. With
Yeah,
the addition of Christian Wood, how many wins better did we get right off the bat?
that's what I was thinking.
Oh, Reggie.
Can you hear me?
There we go. I think he's back.
All right.
He
I
froze for
yeah
a good 20
it
seconds.
yeah I
Still
make
having
sure.
some trouble there.
I think it's
There
think
it
it's my
is.
connection. All
We're in
right.
sync now. All right,
Okay.
you can answer the question.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say I was thinking about this, and I was gonna ask you what you thought. Because as good as they were, especially in the second half after the trade deadline, you know, adding Wood, it does feel like this team could get better. I don't know if this is gonna be, the jump to 60, but it feels like 55 is a safe number if they're able to keep
We
Jalen
got
Brunson.
3 wins better.
It,
Okay.
at least I would say, yeah.
Okay.
I think you if you keep Brunson and you're able to make sure you get Dinwiddie back, keep got Finney Smith and Maxi and some of those guys. I think this team could get at least 55. I'm not sure if I want to say 60 right off the bat, but
Mm-hmm.
it could be that missing piece that gets them to number two at the very least. I would say I think they could jump up to second in the West.
I don't even know if I want to get to 60 wins because you know what happened last time we got to 60 wins?
Well, wasn't that like
Um,
67 or something like that?
Pain. Was it
Yeah,
67? Yeah,
I think it
67.
was.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It,
And
Either way,
yeah,
it's ugh.
yeah, pain. Then we only got a couple in the playoffs, and then yeah, you know what happened.
We don't
We
want to
don't,
talk about it.
we don't speak of that time. We
No,
don't do that. We don't do that.
this is the dark ages.
But yeah, that's I think that's fair. A few wins better with Christian Wood just immediately off the bat because those losses that you had aren't guys who were contributors. So you basically making that basis off the exact same team that you had last year, who
Yeah,
played those minutes, just adding in Christian Wood. So whose minutes does he take away from our meaningful starters and players who see a lot of minutes here? He's not going to take anything from Luca, and maybe not the guard minutes. Who loses minutes here? I think Maxi may see the more floor more now. Question mark.
definitely Powell. I would say I don't know what this does for Hardaway for THJ.
Yeah, that's
His
complicated
minutes
too,
his minutes will go down, and I would expect at least, and it's not
man.
fair to him, but I mean,
I think there's more of a question mark on this team kind of going into next year as we realize because of so much of a power struggle. Like
hmm
if it was just adding in Christian Wood and we don't have to worry about Tim coming back, then you can kind of analyze what you're getting. But
yeah,
Tim's got to come in and get his too. You know how Tim is, and he's going to get
yeah.
up his shots. Where
And
does that fit
With
in?
Jalen's emergence and Dinwiddie, I mean, you could in theory, Drew,
Tim and Dinwiddie off the bench. I
yeah,
mean, that's pretty nice, but I mean,
having both those guys come off the bench, yeah.
Hardaway's gonna get up like double digit shots off the bench probably though. And is that
Well, and
good?
that's what we
Yes.
expected from him, though.
That is good only if he's like playing like six man of the year type material because
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. sometimes we know him as a microwave player, and
hmm
I still have this instance in my head. I can't remember what game it was. Just three straight possessions after he made like a 3-pointer, he just went down and took the jump shot, just no pass or one pass, and just pulled up, missed all three. And I was like, you just destroyed three possessions just because you thought you were hot, and you
Yeah.
weren't. So I don't. I hope that dynamic is controlled and tempered by kid, and it's just you know in a way it kind of seems in hindsight now you have even more mouths to feed because
Yeah.
there was kind of the thing like when are Brunson and Dinwiddie going to go get theirs when Luca is there? There was still that question mark
hmm
going. I mean, during the playoffs too.
Yeah.
And then now you add a Tim Hardaway Jr. back who needs his shots, and then a Christian Wood who's an 18 point per game scorer who
Yeah.
he could use the ball every now and then too to get some buckets. And you don't want
Yeah.
to do what you did with Porzingis and post him up as much. Um, traditionally in today's game, a post up really isn't a good shot, but Porzingis was so efficient when we
Yeah.
had him that it was. But you don't want to kind of try and test those waters again with the post up. So I don't know. There are a lot of mouths to feed now, and the depth behind it is going to be interesting to what else they bring in. The rest that they have to bring in, unless they do another massive haul of like some core players,
hmm
like let's just say they lose JB and they have to wheel and deal a wing and Timmy for a star
Yeah.
or something. I don't know, but
Who knows?
there's just the question mark of are there too many mouths to feed now of guys who need to score? Because we've got five guys now that need to score the ball that are 15 plus point per game scorers.
Yeah.
Luca, JB, Dinwiddie. Tim Hardaway, and Christian Wood. So
Not a bad lineup, but I mean, like you said, a lot of mouths to feed. Here's the one thing I'll say for sure. After what we saw in the second half and especially in the trade deadline, trust Nico, trust the process. I know that's still patent pending over there in Philadelphia, and I'll send them 35 cents for their, second round dreams or whatever. But, trust Nico, trust what he's doing, and I trust Kid to figure out how to make sure that, if he does want to feed all of those mouths, or how, make sure how they get fed, or what the plan is going to be with those, five guys, and what we're going to do with them, or if the Mavericks are just beginning to, the engine's just kicking on, and there's going to be some more moves made in the future.
I'm hoping Kid's able to manage it. I know sometimes those scenarios are tough. Um, and it's kind of what the Wings are dealing with right now. There's some mouths to feed, some egos to satisfy. So
Yeah,
hopefully that's not the case. Or Christian Woods coming in trying to play some team ball and sees that this team can win a championship if he just kind of gets in where he fits in.
I think
But
compared to the situation he was just in, he'll be grateful to be in this in a West on a Western Conference Finals team this year. I
oh
think he'll
yeah.
be really grateful to be a part of this team.
I think he'll be thrilled. And you over there talking about Western Conference Finals. That just reminds me of those playoffs going on, BJ.
Oh,
Playoffs.
Game 6 tonight, man.
Game 6 tonight. You ready for the NBA champs to be crowned? I know
Yes,
I am, and
sir.
I hope it happens tonight. Warriors in 6. Join the finals action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers, that that is you. New customers can make any $5 NBA bet and get $150 in free bets instantly.
Yeah, that's right, Drew. If you're looking to turn a small bet into a big payday during the NBA Finals, well, you can do just that with a DraftKings same game parlay. This NBA season, a customer placed a $5 same game parlay and won over 5 grand. Woof,
Ooh.
five big ones. You can create your own parlay by combining multiple bets, like which team's going to win? The Warriors. The total 3 pointers made more than they shot last time.
A lot.
It feels, yeah, total rebounds, and more, and boom, you've got a bigger shot, or you have a shot at an even bigger payout.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Make any $5 bet during the NBA Finals and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Drew, it's a sad day, kind of a day we expected, though, when we were talking before the season. We figured this might be the last ride for at least Sue Bird, and today she confirmed that it is going to be her farewell season. So not only is it going to be uh, Cheryl, why am I blanking on her last name? No,
Uh,
Sylvia Fowles. What?
you
I
think
don't know where
of,
I got Cheryl.
I don't know why
Anyway,
he's
sorry.
going for the coach. The coach isn't done.
Sylvia Fowles' last season up in Minnesota, but now Sue Bird has announced that she will be retiring at the end of the season. Obviously, we can't. We'll talk about her contributions to the game, but you can't even begin to say enough about what she has done. And not that we are expecting it or anything, but there was a question about whether this was going to be it for Bird and for Diana Taurasi as well. Not officially confirmed on Taurasi or anything like that, but today Sue Bird has announced that she is going to retire at the end of the season.
Well, I tell you what, BJ, with if Diana decides to hang it up too, I sure won't make the mistake I did with Sue by not talking to her when she was in Dallas. Totally blanking that this will be, her last game. This past Sunday it was,
Yeah,
at Dallas. I was right there. Could have been like, hey, Jeff Hoffman, let me talk to Sue. But I wasn't even didn't even hit me. It just stuff happens so fast sometimes. I kind of for the most part most people that are W fans knew this was probably going to be Sue's last year anyway. You just kind of sitting back waiting for the official announcement from her.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean Sue is big time, man.
yeah.
She's a great individual. She's won many championships. Trying to get another one before she leaves, and That's actually one of the first things I wanted to drop a question on BJ and. There's some more that we're gonna get to, but just first and foremost, kind of while we're still uh, in the early parts of Sue Bird talk here, do you think that her and the Seattle Storm, especially when healthy, which they've had some health issues, which mostly health and safety protocols, and now most recently. Mercedes Russell, who has some chronic headache
Yeah.
syndrome that I recently saw about.
Mm.
They're still when they've got Stewie out there, Stewie and Jewel, they're
Mm-hmm.
able to get it done.
Yeah.
So do you think that they'll be able to help Sue go out on the mountaintop with a title?
You always want to believe in happy endings. We've talked about this just a couple months ago, though, with Coach Shashetsky over there at Duke, and he was not able to
He
go
was
out
not.
there on top of the mountain. I don't know the way they've been playing right. The past few weeks, they've got as good a chance as anybody right now. It's going to be tough to beat the Aces just because of how good they have been, but I fully expect it to come down to them and the Aces as of right now, at least, to decide who represents the West in the finals. And then we've already seen one really great matchup between Connecticut and Chicago, and the way they're both playing, you could expect both those teams to be the fighting for the chance to be on the other side of it. So I know they don't do a normal East West, if you will. It's just a 1 through 8, but that'd be if we were doing a traditional West East matchup. I think those would be the two teams that would be fighting for it, at least as of right now.
Yeah, and BJ, if Seattle happens to go back and win it, that's officially a dynasty.
Yeah.
That's officially a dynasty. And throughout Bird's career, her titles before were kind of spaced out. 2004,
Mm-hmm.
and then I believe it was 10. So when she got that next one, and then 18 and
Double
20.
check.
And so I mean that 3 titles in 5 years. That sounds dynasty like to me.
I mean, that's
And
that's more than it would be better than what the Warriors could achieve if they win, because it would be
and
4 and 6 years, right,
and
or
it would be
7.
and it would be 3 in 4 years of the big three healthy
Mm-hmm.
too. So I mean, I think you mark Seattle down as a dynasty if they were
Yes.
able to pull that off. I think it'll be a tough feat though, if they do. But Brianna Stewart is playing at an MVP level. Like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she's next to nothing. She's second in blocks per game this year. She's leading in scoring, top in rebounding. I mean, she's doing it all right now. She's hungry for a title, because there's the wind that it might be her last year in Seattle. So who knows? She could jump ship for a new place to play. But Sue Bird, one of the best point guards in the game. BJ, when you think about what she's brought to the game and everything off the court and all the things on it, where does she rank all time? Is she a top tenner? Is she just a top 20? She's obviously W25, so she's a top
Mm-hmm.
25 all time. But
Yeah.
does she crack top 10 for you?
I would say yes. I mean, how can you
Okay.
not have the all-time assist leader up there in the top 10? Maybe not necessarily number one all-time, just because of the assists, but not only factoring in her performance on the court, but how much everyone in the game loves her and respects her, and how many fans that don't even cheer for the Storm, but how many fans of her in general that she has. I think that her impact on the game has just it's one of those kind of, you're seeing a once in a generation talent, in her last year. And the way that I don't ever hear anybody saying any bad words about her.
Hmm.
So I think that when you take all that into consideration, she could even be top 5. I'm gonna say top 10 just because I like to play it safe, but I think you could make the argument even for top 5.
Oh, um, I definitely don't have her in the top 5. I did vote her on to the um the W25 list, of
Hmm.
course, when I got the votes last year, but I did not put her in my top 10.
How many other W players, Drew, have been a 12-time All Star and an 8-time All W selection?
I don't know the answer to that off the top, but there's not many.
Not many. I mean, I think she's got to be in the top 10.
I don't know. It's tough for me. I did this ranking. I can't. I'm trying to find the big list that we did.
Yeah,
But I can't remember where I had her. I think I might. I think she's in top 20 for me for sure. Top 15 question mark. She is not a top 10 for me though. I just think because we have so many great forwards in our game
yeah.
that they make up the bulk of that top 10. I don't know if we have any guards besides DT who are DT and Cooper who are top 10 all time. I think those are the only ones that are probably in your top 10 all time as a guard right now. Because I mean,
Would you say
think of
like
these other
number 10
names.
or 11 maybe even?
So like, think of these other names though. Like who would fill out a top 10? Lisa
Hmm.
Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Tamika Catchings, Sylvia Fowles,
Yeah.
Candace Parker.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. I'm a, I'm a blanking right now. Um,
DT.
yeah, I mean the guards, of course, those two as well. Man, why am I blanking? Maya Moore. There we go.
Hmm.
I'm blanking on some names. Lauren Jackson. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you're right there, kind of filling it out already just with that crop of
That's
names.
9. So you could put Bird
Yeah,
right there at 10.
maybe. And I'm blanking off the top right now. Elena Deladon. She could be she's a two-time MVP and a WNBA champion, 50-40
Yeah.
90 club. She's arguably a top 10 player already. If she gets another championship, I mean, punch the ticket. But
Yeah.
Bird, I think she's floating right on the
Championship, she
outside for me.
probably just jump and knock her out.
I think to get herself in the top 10, like to squeeze out a great forward, like let's just say an Elena Deladon,
Hmm.
um, or somebody like that, she's got to win the championship this year. Whether she's the biggest part of it, a small part, or she's averaging 6 points and 7 assists.
Yeah.
Um, if she's able to get another championship and walk out with five, and
Hmm.
make that dynasty three in the last 5 years to finish off her career, and I mean, she's got 100% top 10 at that point,
Yeah.
and depending on where she is on other parts of the record books, is top five question or not. But
Yeah.
top five is hard to crack. I mean,
Yeah. It's pretty tough.
that is elite up there. You think of Cooper, you think of DT, you think of Catchings, you think maybe Leslie, and players like that up in that top five echelon. That's a tough echelon to burst into. Maya
Yeah.
Moore, like how do you get past those players? Even though Maya's career was short, it was one of the best in league history. Um,
So she's a
so
career 39% shooter from deep and she's also been attributed as one of the most clutch 3-point shooters at not maybe of all time, but one of the most clutch, at least in the game today.
mhm.
She is second in total 3-pointers made, fourth in steals with 700 right on the dot, and she is seventh on the all time scoring list at 6,639. So I think she does deserve. I mean, it's like you said, those are some great names, but I think we can find, we can knock somebody down at least just one spot. And there, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's a slap in the face to say that because of what Super. I think her contributions to the game off the court is why you would see a lot of people put her in the top 10 as opposed to and it's not to say anything bad about any of the players that you mentioned. I just think that she has so much respect from everybody in the game that a lot of people, even if she maybe doesn't necessarily stat wise measure up to one of those players that you mentioned, I think they benefit of the doubt, and not benefit of the doubt, but you know what I mean. They would be more than willing to put her top 10 as a result of that.
One of the greats of the game.
Absolutely.
One of the greats of the game. There are some arguments though that that assist record and some of those accolades can be broken, like a Courtney Vandersloot. She keeps up her
It's
pace. She could
yeah,
beat that assist record. Um, but definitely one of the legends of the game, BJ. And you can make those cases for her in the upper echelons. But
yeah,
in the when you sit back and kind of look at her career, it's a good one. It's a
yeah,
good one.
absolutely. It's gonna
Five
if
Olympic gold
somebody
medals too.
Yeah, if somebody does knock her from the top spot of the assist leader, it's going to take a while because she is 500 plus ahead of everyone else in terms of assists. It's not quite John Stockton's number on the NBA assist leaderboard, but it's going to take quite a while, I think.
So with this assessment of Sue Bird from you, it sounds like you would confirm that you think she is the best point guard of all time.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's any point guard that can surpass her for the best point guard of all time? And who would it be?
I think it's possible, but I'm not sure they're in the league right now. I
Oh,
I
they're
think
not in the league right now.
I think we will see I think we'll see the next Sue Bird emerge, but it will be a few years from now. I'm not sure who I would say as of right now would be the one to pass her as the greatest point guard of all time.
Just me looking into the office camera.
You want to go big
Are you
screen looking at me?
are you talking about Caitlin Clark, sir? Because she's coming in the league soon, and she's
I
just
didn't say that.
okay. You're right.
I
No,
did not say that.
she's a much more dynamic scorer than Sue, but
Yeah.
she likes to pass that ball too. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that Caitlin Clark
That's gonna
days.
be
But
fun. That's gonna be fun, man.
yeah, Sue Bird definitely a legend in the game. BJ, last question regarding Sue Bird: is she the greatest Seattle Storm player of all time? Title again or not?
Probably because I don't see
Ah, damn it!
I
Ain't
don't
no
see
probably.
I don't see Brianna Stewart staying past this year, especially
Yes or
now
no?
with Sue Bird leaving. So I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
The only I
Re-
think if Stewie stuck around, that you might we might reopen
oh man,
the argument, but I'm
dang!
gonna
You're over
say
here talking
yes.
about Stewie. You're not even mentioning Lauren Jackson.
That's true. But I mean, we talked about what 3 and 4 years would mean for Sue Bird going out, but
Mm.
we haven't talked about what 3 and 4 years would mean for Stewie, and 3 of the 4 years that she was healthy, just at the start of her career. That's quite the tone to start off with.
Oh,
So
she'll undoubtedly be a top 10 player
yeah,
all time, especially if she gets either another championship or another MVP. It's pretty much
yeah,
locked up right there.
I think so.
So, legend Sue Bird announcing her retirement, BJ, at the end of this year. A long and storied career that began all the way back in 2002. A
Man,
20-year WNBA career.
insane, man. It's insane
20
to think
years.
about.
Longevity. That doesn't happen in
Hmm.
this league. That does not happen.
Not
So,
in this
like,
league
you
now.
won't see. I mean, well, obviously, the league's only been around 25 years. This is number 26.
Hmm.
But, like, uh, just for like the average WNBA player, doesn't really make it a handful of years,
Yeah,
in the league. So to think about 20 years of a career, and like she's playing at 40 right now, 40 plus, let's see,
41. Yeah.
41 exactly
Hmm.
right now. Um, and depending on how far they go, I mean, well, no, nah, they wouldn't go into that. It would be just before her birthday. She wouldn't make it to 42, but
I don't think so.
um,
No.
she is that's big time to go 20 years, and you don't see those things like that often. Even in the NBA, you didn't see
Yeah.
it often. You only
No.
think of not many people. Dirk,
Hmm.
Kobe. Did Karl Malone play 20 years? No, I don't know that long. Kareem,
Yeah, but
playing
not all with
for
the same team.
right, and talking about the ones that only did it with all the same team is Dirk,
Yeah.
Kobe, Sue Bird.
Sue Bird. Hmm.
That's another thing
You'd
that's a
have to
part of
go. You'd have to go look at like baseball or hockey to find other examples.
that's another thing that might give her some brownie points in the all-time rankings for I mean, I put a little bit of stock into it, but not a lot.
Hmm.
Like it matters to kind of be able to do that. That organization wanted you there. You were able to win championships in different
Yeah.
decades, multiple championships. Um, and you could well actually you're going for multiple championships in another one right here.
Yeah.
So going for three since 2010, but um, that's That definitely helps, and it's just iconic. You know, one of the her and DT, the only ones with 5 gold medals. No NBA players have that. So,
Yeah,
I mean, she's got some iconic career milestones that can definitely put her up there. Um, I
absolutely.
think
Yeah,
the only thing that would ever push her back is just she's not leading in those major stat categories. Not leading it as many as some other people are. Like you
yeah,
see Candace Parker and like a handful of them. Tamika's in like a handful of them. DT's in probably as many as Sue or something like that. But
yeah.
yeah, she's still one of the greats, though. I mean, you just can't deny it. And a championship to ride out with would just be iconic.
Would be the
Um,
icing on the cake, Drew.
and I don't know many stars, especially the greats of the game, that have gone out with a championship like that. Let's see, when was Maya's last season? Was that off the championship? I don't know, but either way, to go out like this, especially after a 20-year career like that, that's the stuff right there.
Yes,
It should be
sir.
one of just I want to say two players with 5 championships in the WNBA. The only other one I believe is Rebecca Brunson. She had 4 with the Lynx and 1 with the Monarchs. And she would be the only player to have 5 with a single franchise, which would probably never ever happen again. So, uh, Sue Bird, great career. Looking
Absolutely.
forward to watching the rest of 2020, and hopefully y'all make a cool little run in the playoffs. That would be fun to watch. But yeah, no with it or quit it, ladies and gentlemen. Today, just copping in for the bonus episode. Wanted to chat about this stellar news right here. As always, guys, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at _lowdown, THA_lowdown on Twitter and Instagram, and follow us over on the Twitch and YouTube at the Lowdown. Been fun. Glad to slide in another bonus. We're reaching at the end of summer, probably coming to a close of season 2, ladies and gentlemen. So look out for a bounce back of season 3 with some new stuff. BJ's going to get his own segment. So, woohoo!
Hooray.
Be ready for that.
We'll be
Uh,
ready.
yes, indeed. But in the meantime, guys, we will catch you guys next week on the Lowdown.
Peace.